Welcome everybody to Kraken Cast here at the start of season 4. We're joined by somebody who's been on the podcast in season 1, the community manager of the Elder Scrolls Online, Gina Bruno. We're going to catch up with Gina after a couple chapters have released since our last conversation and just kind of see what's up in the world of the Elder Scrolls Online. Thank you so much for joining us today, Gina.
Locke, thank you so much for having me again. I know we talked forever about having like a part 2 since we kind of got cut off before. So I'm happy to finally make that happen.
Yeah, and getting things set up can always be a little bit of a, a hassle because there's been a lot of, like I mentioned, a lot of things going on with releases and then trying to get this set up over the holidays. So I'm really, really happy to have you back. What have you been up to since our last interview, just personally?
Oh, got sick with the flu for a while. That was fun. I think that was one of the right reasons we had to reschedule. It was like, literally can't get out of bed. But yeah, my gosh, it was like a year ago that we last spoke, right?
We spoke about a week before the release of Blackwood. So we've had
Oh my gosh.
Almost 2 years, actually. A year and a half.
Stop it. Has it been that long?
Yeah, it was right before Blackwood.
Wow. Okay. Well, we released more things, obviously. This whole year was Legacy of the Bretons. So we released High Isle and all the other DLCs that went with it. Just our usual cadence of releasing things every 3 months. It's been crazy, but it's been good.
I'm just curious, how has things changed as a community manager? Obviously, last we talked, you were transitioning from us not being under lockdown to the start of COVID where everything was locked down. And now that we're somewhat transitioning out of lockdown, I'm just curious how things have kind of changed on your end as a community manager and how things are able to be approached now as we kind of slowly work our way out of that lockdown situation.
Oh my gosh, doesn't it feel good to feel like we're getting back to some semblance of normalcy here? Like whatever normal is these days. I don't know. I'm happy to see it for sure. Minus the traffic returning. I don't know about you all, like where we were during lockdown, there was like no traffic, which never happens in this area because we're around like Baltimore, DC, like there's a lot of traffic here. And for a little while, you could go out on the road at any time and just drive, like not be stuck in traffic. That's over. Now the traffic has returned, but it is what it is. As far as transitioning from a team aspect, I mean, as a whole, just from the start of, sorry, I thought there was a delivery coming. From the start of the pandemic up until now, when things are kind of starting to become a little bit more lifted, the team as a whole, like not just our team, but the entire development team has been so flexible and so fluid just in terms of how we've been working. And obviously, like some things are different or some things need to be changed. We need to iterate a little bit here and there, but like, overall, it's been really great to see kind of how the team overall is able to just adjust with whatever is happening, and we just still make it work. One of the big things that we lost during the pandemic is just the ability to do in-game events. So, being able to go to conventions or have player meetups or whatever, it was a great way to just connect with people, and we lost that during the pandemic. So I guess during that time, we've just had to find kind of like new or unique ways to connect with the community. So for example, something we did, I think it was the past 2 years now, we've done it, are like these digital events where we will invite members of the press and content creators and some other folks in to kind of preview the chapter that's coming out, give them a chance to ask questions to the team, check out things that are coming and kind of just get excited about it. And we have this whole platform that we use to get everybody in. And it's kind of like, I guess, a glorified Zoom or Slack or Teams or whatever, where, we can all just kind of get together and do this, but with all sorts of neat little layers built into it. So that's something that it was kind of a necessity during the pandemic, but moving forward, it's just a nice tool to have. Like doing in-person events, while fun, they're also pretty limiting. Like we have to ask people to travel, and not everybody can do that for one reason or another. So being able to do a digital event, it's just another option to have, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to take part in the early preview of High Isle. And as a content creator, it was really good to have that back, even though we couldn't talk about it, being able to see the content, experience the content, ask questions also helped me prepare for when High Isle launched as a creator, to be able to bring that to the community, because I had an idea of what things were going to be there. So I thought that was a really cool thing. And it's really cool to hear that that's another tool. That's a tool that you could, if you wanted to, use again in the future, because it really, I think as a content creator, was really neat to have that little extra layer of like early access, get those questions in, and then turn that into videos and streams and things like that,
Exactly,
knowing what was coming.
Yeah. Speaking of streams, that brings up another thing that we kind of had to change, was obviously streaming at home. So pre-pandemic, we had a streaming studio, which if you go back on Twitch and watch some old VODs, you'll see like we used to be there in person in an actual studio, having a whole team running everything. And once we went into lockdown, we all kind of wanted to continue streaming, but we just kind of weren't sure how. So just kind of learned how to do it ourselves. And I think it's been pretty successful. Like there have been some challenges that we've kind of had to figure out. Things like, if we have a dev on and they're using an internal server to show gameplay, how do we then show that? Because right now I stream from my machine. It's a personal machine though, so I can't install. I have a work machine, but it's not like my streaming machine. My streaming machine is way more powerful. I prefer to use that. So like, how do we get a feed from somebody who is offsite somewhere else on an internal server out to the stream? So it's things like that we just kind of have to try and figure out, that we didn't have to figure out before. But I think streaming from home brings a lot of really good flexibility. We don't have to all be in the same place at the same time. We can kind of work around people's schedules, and I just enjoy it. Like I enjoy, I have my stream deck here and I have like my whole setup. I enjoy kind of playing director and producer a little bit, like pushing all the things and, let's bring this up at this time, whatever. But it is hard to juggle all the things. Like, I don't know how you all do it all the time, but like being able to focus on chat and then bringing up this scene over here and, let me make sure I'm engaged over here. God forbid if we actually have to play and look competent on top of it. Like it's tough, but it's fun. I enjoy it.
Get a little bit of the experience of what it's like to be a streamer in terms of having to produce, direct, and engage all at the same time.
I know. I will say, going back to the in-person events, some of our teams outside of North America have started doing in-person events again. So like Germany recently had the Tavern during Gamescom. I know Australia has done some events. UK has done some events. So we're kind of getting to that point where we're starting to open up a bit more, inviting people in, obviously keeping safety in mind, making sure everybody is comfortable and ready to do that. So it's something that we're definitely looking forward to doing, hopefully in the near future again. But yeah, we're always just kind of looking at ways that we can reach out and improve, and going to places where we kind of have the greatest impact and the greatest visibility for everybody.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm really looking forward to hopefully getting back to the point where you have the ESO taverns at PAX. I always liked going to those before. Yes. I was a content creator. I always thought it was a great way to meet other players and people as a penny arcade goer.
Yes. Oh, it's a great way to mingle and just meet so many different people.
Yeah, and then kind of talking a little bit about things that you ran over the pandemic and different programs. There's a couple that you ran around this launch that were new. You did the Set Sail program that I was lucky enough to be part of, where you were pairing up Elder Scrolls online streamers with streamers from outside of the category, so they'd be able to bring attention to the game, check out the game, and bring it to their communities. And you also did tiered drops for the first time, which a lot of other games have kind of been doing for a while. So I'm just curious how you feel both Set Sail and the like layered drops went.
Super great. I love that campaign. It was so much fun. And to your point, it was a really great way just to give ESO more visibility outside of like the core community and the core audience that usually watches in the Twitch directory, and getting it out there to larger creators who then get it out to their audiences and just get more eyeballs on the game. So, yeah, as you said, we had paired up some of these larger streamers with members of the stream team just to kind of allow them to experience more of the game and have an expert for them to lean on while they were playing. So like a lot of times, if you're trying a new game you're not familiar with, obviously you go through character creation, you go through tutorials, you go through, the first few hours of the game, but you don't really get to experience like either what end game is, or if, a game like ours, we have 7-8 years worth of content. There's a lot of stuff to look at. And sometimes you're just kind of not sure what to do. So giving these streamers somebody who's just a lot more experienced with the game to kind of lead them through a dungeon. If they're into it, check out a veteran dungeon, see how challenging and how fun it is. Or, hey, I'll take you into PvP. Let's get a group together and go do this. Like it was really cool to see them just experiencing all the different things that our game has, rather than just focused on, the starting areas for a game.
Yeah, and with an MMO, like you said, there's so much to do. So having a tour guide, so to speak, is a really beneficial thing. As a content creator, it also allowed me to experience for a lengthier time, always try to help out new players. That's a lot of what I do on stream when people come through and are new. But that was a chance to actually hear in I worked with that bronze girl, hear her genuine reactions to the game. Ooh, I want to try this, or I want to try that. She brought around a fellow content creator that she often co-streams with, and so it was getting to see the two of them interact with the world, play tour guide, and just kind of show them around was really invigorating for me as somebody who's been playing ESO since beta, because it allowed me to just see everybody's first genuine reactions to things, and I thought that was really exciting as a creator. And that's also a really good way to, again, network, not just during the event, but I don't know for other creators, but I know a lot of people made decent connections with other streamers, so I think it was really good overall for the directory, for the streamers, and I think it made really good content for the viewers as well. So I love that campaign a lot.
Yeah, me too. And yeah, with the tier drops, that was something kind of new that we had tried, giving different types of items out. Typically we do the Ouroboros crown crates. It's easy to just kind of set up and kind of do recurring pretty easily through Twitch drop campaigns. But with this, we offered, what was it, a unique pet and a mount, and was it a costume, I think?
Yeah, it was
right?
I believe it was a pet and a costume that had been available in the past, but were really cool. And you also gave two crown crates along with it. So if people had already got those things, they were still getting their crown crates, and then a completely brand new mount that was unique to the campaign.
I'm glad you remember. I was close. It was a lot of stuff. And it lasted for a number of weeks too. So people had a chance to kind of tune in as time allowed throughout, a week or two to get these items. And if I remember correctly, the final week we brought everything back. So that way, if somebody missed something, they still had a chance to get it again, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was really cool to see that in the ESO category. Like you said, the Ouroboros crates are something that allow you to do a lot more drops campaigns than most games do in a given year. Yeah. But having something special like that, especially with a launch, I think something like that was really exciting. Hopefully, in the future, we're going to see something like that again, because it was, I think, like you said, it brought a lot of people back, brought a lot of people in because they wanted to see those things. And it was just kind of great because they were longer term drops, so people were more engaging with the streams and the content as they built up towards these bigger rewards. Because it's nice to tune in for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, grab your Ouroboros crates, get your gems and things, but being able to work towards the mount, I thought was a really cool experience.
Yeah, thank you. Me too. I'm just gonna cough throughout this entire
that's
thing.
fine.
I have not been able to shake this cough ever since I got sick a few weeks ago. All I'm doing still, it started getting better. And then a couple of days ago, it's I'm still coughing. And even my husband was like, when are you going to stop coughing? I don't know. So I took some cough medicine before this, but my apologies in advance for
every last ailment is going around. Everybody's been sick, is getting sick. It's unfortunate. It
feels that way.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, but it seems like it's also the most
the most
plagued time of the year. Yeah.
Yep.
So kind of also talking about other things that have released and things like that. I don't want to go into the weeds with it. It's been discussed ad nauseum to this, but there's been some rocky patches, obviously, with certain updates and things along the way. How do you continue to focus on growth and good? How do you listen to the constructive criticisms to grow the game while also trying to deal with the overly toxic and negative? Because it's mixed in there. There's genuine critiques and criticisms I know the team takes and listens to while also dealing with negative. I'm just curious, as somebody who has dealt with positive, critical critiques and negative, how you balance all that out, because it's sometimes hard, whether you're a content creator or a game dev or a community manager. The negatives are the things that I think really kind of stick out there.
Yeah. So first, I do just want to say we would be a little worried if all the player feedback we got was positive. Like, it's just not realistic. And negative feedback is needed and honestly valued. Constructive negative feedback, I'll say. So when we receive like constructive or negative feedback about something, we do always bring it to the dev team's attention. We talk about it, we figure out how to address it. And from there, we provide answers when we can back to the community, whether it's on forums or Twitter or what have you. So that part is kind of just ensuring that the community is healthy and growing and is feeling heard. It's, negative feedback, it's tough, but we don't take it personally. We know it's coming from a place of care ultimately, and it's from people that ultimately want to see ESO at its best. We all do. So at the end of the day, we do want the community to keep giving us feedback. Obviously, try and make it constructive when you do share it, and then that way we can try and figure it out as best as we can.
Yeah, I always said that if somebody really hates something, some of them are going to be vocal about it, but for the most part, if you stop caring about something, you just leave the thing.
You leave. Yeah, you just leave.
But if you care about something or have cared about something, you want to see it succeed. So a lot of that comes from that kind of genuine, I feel like, place of like, this is frustrating me and I want to get it out there because I want it to be fixed because I want to be here. So that's how I've always kind of taken it. Because I know when I hate something and get tired of something, I just stop doing the thing.
Yeah, you close it, you uninstall it, whatever. And yeah, it really does. I truly believe it comes from a place of caring, a place of passion. It's understandable. But again, like when you do want to provide something that is negative, just ensuring that it's constructive. Like, there is a big difference between saying, hey, this new system sucks, versus, hey, I think this new system's too strong. This is why, explaining your reasoning. And again, like, we do take a lot of this and we bring it to the team. The team sometimes already has read it by the time we approach them with it. So it is seen, and we will continue to kind of provide answers as best as we can.
Yeah, and I think that can be seen. Well, it might not be seen in some of the places people feel are pain points now. I think recent additions to the start of accessibility features and then a lot of quality of life features the last 2 years that people have been asking for, I think kind of show that it might take a while, but they're being heard, because I think a lot of these quality of life features have come from people being critical in the past and going, okay, we need to kind of maybe fix, maybe people shouldn't have to run a dungeon 100 something times to get a staff, and thus we got the curated drops a year and a half back.
Yeah.
Just kind of looking to the future, not looking for spoilers or anything. I know you can't say that, but I'm just curious. You kind of mentioned it before. You can't talk about, but are you looking at more programs kind of like set sail or tiered drops, like new and innovative ways to kind of like change things up? Because I know the first time you were on the podcast, you just got done with World Plays. Last year we saw set sail. I'm just curious if there's other, like, not saying what they are, but kind of things on the fire like that.
Yeah, we're definitely talking about it. World Plays was a good start. I think Set Sail was kind of added to that and made it a lot more successful. So we're kind of looking at learnings from both of those campaigns and seeing what are some options for next year. So it's definitely something that's still on the table as far as like a Twitch campaign goes. As far as other programs, I've mentioned this a couple times, just sort of on the side. We would really like to expand the Stream Team program into a larger like content creator program. So just trying to celebrate more creators in our community. So embracing those that create videos or guides, podcasts, even like artists and cosplay. Like, we have so many great creators in our community. And I think, we've done a good job supporting and leveraging streamers. We'd like to do that with other creators too. So that's something that we have been chipping away at and working on.
I think that would be amazing. We've highlighted it somewhat on my stream here and there, but and done art contests. I think, like you said, there's artists, fan fiction writers. There's, like you said, people who make amazing websites, YouTube videos. So I think that's really exciting to hear that content creators who aren't just streamers or specifically like Twitch streamers, since YouTube doesn't quite have the drops yet, we'll be seeing some of that like love and support from Bethesda. Because like you said, there's so many avenues of content creation out there. And so I think people who create things will be excited to hear that.
Yeah, and honestly, like if somebody who's a content creator is watching either live or recording or whatever, and you have ideas on how we can better support you, I'm all ears. Like, I would love to hear it. We certainly have ideas on our end, but I mean, you all are the ones that we're trying to support. You're on the front lines. So definitely open to hearing any and all ideas.
Awesome. And then other programs that you've kind of run, you've had a lot of collaborations from bringing on the voice actor of Bragus, the amazing Billy Boyd. Recently you had a stream with 3 very talented musicians. You've done stuff with Trivium in the past. I'm just curious how cool it's been to work with, other entertainers, not just content creators, but entertainers in the field to kind of promote the game. I know Critical Role also did like a one-off Elder Scrolls campaign in the past. So I've thought those were really cool things to see the people who interact with the game also like promoting the game that way. And just how cool has that been to work with those people?
My God, it has been so fun and such a great opportunity too. Like I sometimes like wake up and pinch myself. Like, is this really my life that I get to do a stream today with like Maluka and Christina and all these other people? Like, who am I? So yeah, it's been really fun. I'm just so lucky to have these opportunities. And honestly, I hope the community's been enjoying it too, because we have a lot of fun doing it. And the whole point is to kind of entertain everybody else. But yeah, like being able to, whether it's, interview somebody or collaborate with them with a campaign or whatever it is, like, it's just fun to try and do something different. And again, it goes back to trying to get ESO out to more eyeballs / new eyeballs, getting out to other audiences too.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of like the Reese's peanut butter cup, 2 great tastes that taste great together. From my vantage point, my little content creation vantage point, a lot of people have been very excited to see those streams. I know people come into my chat after, like when Billy was on or when musicians were on, and we're very excited to talk about seeing basically somebody that they really love chatting with people and being a part of the game that they also really love. Because ESO's always had that extensive voice cast and support, but again, seeing people like Billy Boyd in an interview format with Elder Scrolls Online has been really, I think, exciting and cool to see.
Oh my God. And can I just say, all of them are so nice. And not just like, oh, you're being polite because you have to. Like, you can just tell, like, they have this kind aura about them. And they are so respectful, not just of us, but of each other. Like, it's just, like, it's not a front. Like, these are just really kind people. And it's just so nice to be able to work with them. Like, my shining moment, I guess, in this career has been last year when we had Matt Hafey on stream with Brad, and then my 5-year-old daughter at the time interrupted the entire stream. I was so embarrassed. I was so humiliated afterwards. I'm like, this is the worst stream ever. Like, we're never going to talk to this guy again. I just blew this entire thing. I wrote him afterwards just apologizing. Like, I'm so sorry. She wasn't supposed to be home and this and that, whatever. And he's like, it's totally cool. I have twins. I get it. He's like, keep in touch if you ever want to do something again. Like, I'm totally down. And I'm like, okay, he's just being nice. But then, like, we actually did end up keeping in touch, and we became pretty good friends after that. And like, we kind of chit chat back and forth, and, he's been on stream again a few times. We've done additional things with him. I think we did a charity stream one time, and like, he seems really nice on stream, but he's just always that nice. Like, no matter how busy he is, he always makes sure that, everyone has what they need, that they're covered, that, oh, talk to this person and make sure that you have this and that, whatever. Like, and they're all like that. At least everybody that we've spoken to. So it's nice to work with nice people.
Yeah, I would say the vast majority of people in a lot of the industries are like that. I used to, prior to making streaming and making content this way, I used to run anime and comic conventions. So I've met a large number of voice talent and musical talent through that. And I've always had genuinely experiences like that where the first interaction is, oh, they're just being nice because I'm paying them to come over to my event. But
Right.
but you stay in contact and they're mostly all just genuinely nice people who are enjoy being there and
Yes.
interacting.
Yeah, no, they enjoy what they're doing. They enjoy talking with people. I think that they're appreciative of what they're bringing to your community and just kind of being a part of everything. Like I don't know, it's different to be able to do things like that, but it's also really nice just to kind of mesh these communities together.
It's a nice change of pace also. Like, it's wonderful to see streams that are announcing new content or talking about a new system, but it's also wonderful just to see, chat with Billy, chat with lead singer of Trivium, things like that. So I think it's been a really good like change of pace and really enjoyable. I know another part of being a community manager, and you already touched on this a bit earlier, is working with the community on their projects and highlighting their projects, which we've seen a lot of. We've seen a lot of charity support from ZeniMax, people running tournaments that get promoted. Myself, I've ran ESO Pride that got promoted. I'm just thinking, how is it seeing the community organize these things in parallel with what you work on? Because I know there's a lot that gets worked on by you, the rest of the community management team, and ZeniMax in general. But seeing the community kind of rise up and put on these charity things in conjunction with the stuff that you're already doing.
Oh my God, it's so great. Like we always want to do more of these types of things, but they take a lot of time and effort, like as you probably know, because you've had to organize them too. So it's really nice to be able to have players organize things on their own. And then in turn, we're happy to support and amplify whenever and however we can. So we've seen things like tribute tournaments, housing competitions, dueling tourneys, dungeon speed runs, like all different types of things. And again, like if you reach out to us, if you'd like us to, help amplify a retweet, provide some prizing, whatever it is, like just ask. Worst we say is no, but at least just, shoot your shot.
Yeah, I can second that because I remember reaching out before ESO Pride and I was like, I'm just going to shoot for the moon. I'm going to ask for just so much stuff. And if we get a little bit, that's great. If they say no, I understand. And then the answer back was like, let me talk to the team. And then it was just more than so. And that, I know
it's
that
collaborative too. Yeah. Like it depends on what we have going on and what the bandwidth is. And sometimes we can do more things than others, or sometimes we feel like, well, this is a better strategy. Let's try this or whatever. But like, yeah, letting us know ahead of time that you would like to work with us on something, we're down for sure.
Yeah, and to kind of talk a little bit more about the event I did with ESO Pride, it kind of dawned on me that Elder Scrolls Online is a very inclusive game. It has a very large LGBTQI plus fan base, but also June has been the month of the chapter launch for a very long time. So if you're trying to organize a chapter launch, all the programs that go with that, it makes sense that there isn't a lot that ZeniMax is going to be able to do in terms of also organizing a big Pride thing. So I'm just curious, that I think it went off very successful. I'm just curious if you were able to see any of the stuff that we were able to do with ESO Pride and things like that, because I know that you had a lot going on, because it is, again, the same month that High Isle dropped and you're dealing with set sale and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yep. No, I remember seeing some screenshots and some videos floating around of the Pride Parade that was happening. The one where like, I don't remember if like
we broke Aradon.
Crashed. Yeah, like something broke. It was like, okay.
I underestimated, I guess, how many people, because I hadn't organized something like that in game before, would turn out. And on EU, we had like 150 people and things went fine. And then when we did the same thing on NA at a more prime time, yeah, I think it seems like about 200 people maybe can fit in one area, because people got kicked and they couldn't even log back in. So no. I was like, I kept apologizing because we're re-strategizing. We'll have multiple content creators next year, and we'll have 3 different parades at the same time, because I was like, I'm so sorry, devs, we crashed Oradon.
That was a good problem though, because it proves that something like that was successful and people are looking for it. And like, I remember seeing one of the screenshots, you literally couldn't even tell like where the people were because it was just this mob of characters everywhere. It was so amazing. And then didn't you also have like a press article about the event?
Yeah. You guys put up, Dom put up a press article about, from not on ZeniMax. Yeah, no, we had 2 press articles come out after the event about it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Your first one. And like, look how great it was.
Yeah. I can't take all the credit. I noticed something was there because of just the game's very inclusive and I knew it had a big queer community, and between the queer community plus everybody who is an ally wanted to show support. And there was a lot of worry before the event. Even like kind of talking when I was talking to you and Dom about, you might get some negative flack from your tweets and stuff. And it's really amazing to see the difference between negativity on people looking for it on Twitter and at the event. Because we had what I call like one silent, angry person who like just stood off in the distance dressed in all black as we had a great time. And it kind of just showed me that the in-game community overwhelmingly positive. It just, so I think it
is. And this is a great example of if you build it, they will come. Like, we just need somebody to organize it and then people will go there and support you. So I was really happy to see how successful it was.
And the reason I brought up the one negative person is not to bring up negativity. It's just, again, it's really interesting to see the sheer level that people will say on Twitter. But when you're actually in the game with the people who actually play the game, it's 99% just positivity. And it was wonderful. I think really uplifting to see. So just kind of, as we kind of wind down a little bit on the interview, I'm just curious, some kind of quick questions. Do you have any content in ESO that you've really enjoyed, a favorite zone, something like that, whether it's something new or something in the past?
I think one of my favorite newer pieces of content is specifically Graven Deep. Like, the dungeon team just knocked this one out of the park. It is so fun. It's so gorgeous. Like, this is the one where like you fall through the thing and you go into the water and you have the bubble and everything. Like, there's just so many neat little things that happen in that dungeon, especially if you look at like some of our original dungeons, which are fun, but they have really grown and evolved over the years and have found their own and are just having so much fun creating these things. And it's fun to play them.
Yeah, the dungeon team deserves a lot of credit. I've been going through, since I restarted on PC 2 years ago. Before that was almost all PlayStation play. So I've been going through a lot of vets. And like you said, the older vets are not unfun, but the new ones, obviously, they've really, in the last couple of years especially, I feel like hit a stride. I always do lore runs the first, when new dungeons come out, so I can just go in on normal and just let everybody who's running with me know we're going to just walk around and we're just going to look at the little details, because there's just so many little details
I love that.
in the in them. And then the mechanics are, again, speaking to the new dungeons the last couple years, the mechanics are really well done, because it used to be like if you transitioned from normal to vet or you clicked on a hard mode, you might see new mechanics or mechanics you didn't get used to. And I feel like the ramping up is really good between normal to vet to like trying to run for your trifectas. You actually learn a lot more of the mechanics in the recent years. So in addition to being beautiful, I just feel like the fights are have been really well designed. So a lot of props to that team.
Yeah. And like a lot of times when you go through normal, a lot of times you'll notice little things. It's like, wonder why that's there. I bet I'm going to need that later. And just kind of dropping little hints that you're going to need when you run an invet.
Yeah. Also, like you said, I think, Graven Deep is gorgeous. The last couple dungeons have just been like very pretty in their as well as dangerous. Also just kind of touching on things. Last time we talked, you mentioned being like a big fan of cars and auto shows and things like that. So I'm just curious, outside of ESO, what have you been doing to kind of like entertain yourself?
Oh, that's back when I had time for hobbies.
Oh, so fair enough, I guess.
My hobby these days is whatever my daughter is doing. So okay, I guess my hobby is my daughter. So like, on weekends, we always spend a lot of time, gallivanting here and there. We love discovering new places. Like in the city, there's all these different types of museums or whatever, like lots of things to do. Lately, she has been really into dance. So like she joined a dance team. She's 6, by the way, and already doing this. So she's on a dance team. So I'm becoming like your typical dance mom, like bringing her to rehearsals. And like this past weekend, she had a performance. We had to wake up early and do hair and makeup and the whole thing. So like she's super into it. I'm super into it. Like I'm really supportive of something like dancing. I'm getting on a soapbox here. Like I danced for years and years when I was younger. And it's just such a fun and healthy activity. And like all the girls are like, they're friends with each other and they have fun, but they also take it really seriously. So like, if that's what she wants to do, great. Like that's where I'll drive her around as much as she needs to do all that.
Yeah, things like dance and various entertainment hobbies or sports and things like that are really great things for community building, for kids especially. Like you said, make friends and stuff. So that's really awesome that your daughter's into dance and that you're able to like experience that with her.
Yeah, it's been really fun.
And I always also kind of like to bring up other media because we're all very focused on ESO. I'm an ESO content creator, obviously the community manager for Elder Scrolls Online, but I'm just curious if there's like any like films or shows or games or anything. Like you said, most of your hobby is your daughter, but I'm just curious if there's anything you've seen or played or anything like that recently that's been like really like amazing, just because I like to hear what other media people are enjoying out there.
Yeah, so when she goes to bed, that's like my me time when I can either watch TV or play games or catch up on things, whatever. So my husband and I recently finished Better Call Saul, which if you haven't seen it, first watch Breaking Bad and then watch Better Call Saul. You will not regret it. It's so good.
It's an amazing show. I love.
Oh my god!
Yeah, Better Call
Did you watch all of it?
Yeah, Better Call Saul is one of my I thought it was better than Breaking Bad, though having the context of Breaking Bad, which is an amazing show in its own right. But yeah, I ended up liking Saul even better than Breaking Bad, which I didn't think was going to be possible from a spinoff.
Yeah. I'm not sure which one I like better, which says a lot because I love Breaking Bad. Like there were some episodes of Saul where I was like, oh, that was so good. Like I would have to go back and just watch it again. What else? We've been watching The Challenge on MTV. Like I have watched it since its inception, however many years ago. I'm obsessed. Whenever there's a new one, I have to watch it. So there's a new one going right now. I do want to start watching Wednesday soon, the new Addams Family one on Netflix.
I've only seen the first 2 episodes, but it was really good. The episodes I've seen.
Okay. I haven't been able to start because all of my free time, every waking moment that I have free time has been spent on God of War. My God, I have been up so late the past couple of nights. Like I'll do one of those things where I'm like, all right, one more thing. Let me just get to here. Let me just do this thing. And it's like, oh, it's 1:30 and I have to wake up in a few hours. Like that game, incredible. I just love it. I love all of them. And I feel like each game is incredible. And I'm like, all right, there's no way the next one's going to top this. And they just keep doing it. I've been having so much fun with that game.
I was really shocked when God of War came out, the one before this one, because I wasn't sure after the original God of Wars, which were really fun action games. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
And then the way they blended like different pantheons and added all the stuff in, and the storytelling in it was just so good. And so this, I haven't had a chance. I own it, but I haven't had a chance to play the new one yet. I'm very excited too because
you're gonna love it. It's so great. And so one of the things that was fun about the original God of War is fun and different. I feel like the combat changed a little bit. So like in the originals, you could just mow down enemies with your blades, right? And then in these newer ones, I guess the God of War games, right? I feel like you have to kind of slow down a little bit. Don't just rush into everything like I keep doing, and I know I can't, and I do it anyway, but like take a step back, remember to block. You have to remember to parry, like do all these things. You have to kind of think about it a little bit more. And it's fun. Like every boss fight, even if I die 30 times, once I'm done, I'm like, man, that was so fun. Like it's such a great game.
Yeah, they did a really good job in the past with those like chaining combos, and the whole thing was just about laying waste. But I do think they did a good job innovating and kind of modernizing the combat. So like you said, it is you do have to think more about pairing and things like that. It's a little more challenging and things like that, so that it doesn't just like, because that was really innovative in the original God of Wars, the way they were doing combat. There's only a few games doing it, but then a lot of games have done it. So for them to change it up, I think was really, really awesome. And again, the storytelling, and it's just some of the best storytelling I experienced in gaming in a long time. So
it really is. And what's nice is I feel like they've taken all the elements that you love about that game, and they haven't flipped it on its head. They haven't tried to make it so different you don't even know what it is anymore. They're just improving it. And I love to see it. That's what I've been spending all my free time on, is playing that game. I've been looking forward to it for so long, and now I'm just like, I don't want it to end. I'm just doing all the side quests right now. So yeah, it's super fun. You're going to love it.
I'm really excited to finally get around to playing it. It's been a really hectic month, so December will be my time to finally enjoy the new God of War game.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything that's on the horizon coming up in the near future?
Well, I'd love to talk about them, but I can't.
Oh,
so
fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, I'm not even gonna. I was about to start saying things, and then I hear like people in the back of my head being like, don't talk about that yet. So I guess I'll leave everybody with a massive thank you for, of course, all of the support that everyone has given us. We know like there's been some bumps while we're putting out all of our content, but we're still here, and we want to give everybody the best experiences possible. So we appreciate everybody coming out, whether it's to streams, whether it's to, social, just interacting with everybody there, whether it's just hopping in games, showing people around, whatever it is. Like we appreciate you being here. Like you and your community and everybody else, that's what makes up, the player base in our community. And that's what's important. So we are very appreciative of everybody.
Awesome. And I do have one other question. I saw it in chat, but I'm also curious, what's in the tank back there? Are those hamsters or?
Oh, it's my daughter's gerbils.
Gerbils. So, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just noticed them running around, and somebody said it in chat, and then I
didn't realize they were awake. Oh, there they are. Yeah.
Yeah, they're scurrying around. Okay.
Violet and Isabella.
Awesome.
They are they're very annoying in the morning. They have like they have a schedule almost like clockwork. So when I sit down and start working, for whatever reason, they have like this coconut in their cage with a little hole, and they like to sleep in it. But for some reason, from like 9 until 11 in the morning, all they do is sit in there and scratch at it. And the scratching wouldn't be so bad if it didn't knock up against the glass cage constantly. So I'm like, holy shit, like you gotta stop. So like I try and put in like toilet paper tubes, and there's like tubes all underneath all their stuff there. Like I'm trying to do anything, and all they want to do is scratch in the damn coconut every morning when I sit down and work. So they're very cute though. Like they have cute little personalities, and like they don't bite or anything. You put your hand in and they just kind of sniff you and run around. So they're sweet, but not from 9 to 11 a.m.
Yeah, I understand about sitting down to work. When I sit in my chair here, whether I'm starting stream or working on something, my corgi Virgil is very, very vocal. Anybody who's been at the start of my stream can be a testament until he curls up that he's like, you're sitting in the chair. It's time. Time for many a thing to make some noise.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I know around lunchtime, my dog will usually he'll walk in and he'll just give you the stare. And it's like, okay, you want either food or you need to go out for your walk, or the mailman's outside. Like the mailman is a whole thing now. So our mailman, he has decided to carry like milk bones and dog treats and stuff in his truck. So that way the dogs don't hate him. They love him. But now they're all like obsessed with him. So when they hear the mail truck noise, you'll literally hear dogs in the neighborhood barking, including my own idiot downstairs, like just going crazy because they want to get outside and get their treat from the mailman. So it's become this whole thing of like, you'll literally see like dogs emerging from their houses, like people taking them out, and the dogs are just pulling all their owners just to get their milk bone. So it worked, but I guess it's better than the alternative.
Yeah, I guess better than being hated, but yeah, now it's
exactly
the treat man's here. Awesome. So I just want to say thank you again for taking time. I know
of course.
launches and DLC and everything else, it's always a bit hectic. Plus the holidays on top of that. So thank you for working with me and getting this all worked out so you could be on the stream.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really appreciate you being here.
Sorry. I'm sorry we've had to reschedule like 3 times, but I'm glad we finally made it happen.
Yeah. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. Happy upcoming holidays, new life's coming up and things like that. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. Look forward after the start of the new year, seeing whatever you have in store for us.